I've started the space now, as I said, that this is about celebrating ourselves, celebrating our lives, and sharing why we think our lives are special and why we must blow our own trumpets. Let's wait for some people to join in, and as promised, everybody will get a chance to speak. Everybody can be a listener, can be a speaker to speak. Everybody can be a listener, can be a speaker here. Just raise your hands and ask for the mic, and I will wait for a few people to join in, and then we'll start. It's nothing formal, just doing this uh, as a, you know, just generally sharing ourselves. Feel free to share anything about your life, about your journeys, your story, the things that you've done, all your achievements for which you believe that you deserve to blow your own trumpets. I'll give you a little bit of background to why this is my philosophy. Because like, don't blow your own trumpets is something that people have always said is as a virtue. It is said that we should not blow our own trumpets, but I don't believe in it, and I never understand, if we don't blow our own trumpets, who will? Who else will? Why would anybody else blow my trumpet? They have their own trumpets to blow, don't they? So I have to blow my own trumpets, because otherwise you are assuming that you are just so awesome that others will blow your trumpets. So this idea that you have to be self-effacing, that you don't have to, that you should not talk about your achievements, your lives, your things that you have done, that those should not be talked about by yourself, is a very archaic idea. Probably it came at a time when there were less people in the world. It is a very old and archaic belief, because at a time, that time, there were few people in the world, and those who will get to that position where others will talk about them was less. Today, we live in a time of self love. Everybody is sharing their lives on their social media spaces. We are all showcasing what we are doing, what we think, and it is it is important because we all are little celebrities of our lives, of our own little time, of our own little spaces. We are celebrities in that space, and therefore we should talk about ourselves and not wait for others to celebrate us, because maybe not everybody is, that everybody is not Gandhi, or everybody is not Mother Teresa, or everybody is not Amir Khan and Shah Rukh Khan, that others will blow their trumpets. We can blow our own trumpets in our own spaces. I'll give you an example. Like, I have, throughout my life, I've given lots of talks, lectures at various colleges, various places, conferences, and they are these, whatever I have, my talks, my thoughts, my wisdoms are scattered across the web. If you Google me, you will find a lot of content by me, but they are not in one place. Why? Because has nobody is sitting there trying to gather all the information and showcasing them at one space because they want to celebrate Sanjukta bus. Why would they do that? Maybe that's not required because I'm not that big or an important person. However, I am somewhat an important person. And everybody is somewhat an important person. So everybody gets to have that space, or everybody have the right and deserve that celebration. So blow your own trumpets, because nobody else will do it for you. You should blow your own trumpet and celebrate your life, because others are doing the same for themselves. They are all busy. We are little people in a very big world, in a very competitive world. So that's why and this is one life we have got, and we should celebrate that life. We all have done interesting things in our lives for which we believe that we you know that for which we believe that we deserve attention and accolades, but we have been it has been instilled in our head that no, no, don't talk about yourself, keep a low profile, don't blow your own trumpet, don't bring attention to yourself. It's bullshit. It's a very old idea. I believe in celebrating my own life, and I'm always keen to listen to others talk about their life, and that's why I started this space in a very informal way. It's nothing formal, um, and I thought that I'm sure everybody has something to say. Please feel free to raise hands, request for the mic. As I said, everybody will get a chance to speak about themselves. So we have. Please be civil, and this is not a place to start your BJP, Congress, Hindu, Muslim agendas. Not a place to start your political trolling. So keep that in mind, and let's start. We'll start with Akash. Akash has sent. Uh, Akash Rai requested. What do I do? Okay, approve. Okay, Akash, you are a speaker now. You can you can speak. Some of you have joined Himani, Swati. I gave the mic to this person, Akash, but he seems to be having trouble joining. Just to give introduction again, that this is a space for blowing our own trumpets, because the idea that we should not blow our own trumpets is a very archaic idea. It's very old. Probably emerged at a time when there were less people in this universe and therefore less competition. But today we're living in a time of competitiveness and showcasing our lives through social media, and that's okay. Philosopher Hannah Arendt said that it is only by showcasing ourselves or placing ourselves in the public sphere amongst the public that we actually even realize our own humanity. She says, it's a second birth when we engage in the public sphere. When we our actions and our words, we join the public sphere. That's how we actually have a second birth. The first birth is the when we were born, the biological birth, but we realize ourself, our humanity, our specific individuality only by being part of the public sphere with our actions and our deeds. So therefore it's important that we place ourselves in the public. And how do we do that? That's how we were anyway doing in our social media spaces. We share our thoughts, ideas, opinions on our social media spaces. At the same time, get to we also deserve to share our own lives, important achievements, or whatever that we think is an achievement. Not even like it doesn't have to be something grand in terms of what public thinks is important. It is important to us. Something that you have done, that you think is important, deserves to be shared and celebrated. So yeah, Swati, and just just that, not a place for politics, please. So please be civil. And yeah, Swati, I'll give you the mic. Um,
I totally agree with what you say. That you have to blow your own trumpet, of course. And as a woman, when you're somebody from marginalized community, I think it matters more that you kind of showcase what you are doing, not just because you are trying not to be modest or like you want to celebrate yourself, but it's because it also like creates a chain where others are also inspired by you. And the fact that a lot of power is still kind of in the hands of very few. If we talk about India, it's there's caste happening. There's of course the incidents regarding the caste and like the segregation where the power is still with the UCs. And when we talk about like if we talk about gender, then cis het people have more power. So in those cases, it becomes like very essential to show what you are doing and what you have done. And but like I think the biggest backlash of it like not backlash, but I think the biggest challenge of all of this is that the people who need to showcase their achievements as well, they do get intimidated. Like this is like the first time I'm kind of speaking on Twitter. I've never been on Twitter, although I've had this 10 years. Now I'm just learning because I come from a very small town where socializing, being on social media is like not that prevalent. I'm the first generation, in my entire family who's going to get into journalism and things like that. So for me, this is such an intimidating space. So creating a space where you are allowed to, celebrate yourself without feeling, small, of course, that's important. So I think that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Swati. That's actually exactly what it is. Why is it important for? It's important for women. It's important for those who have always been marginalized. Because, like you said, who gets to share their lives with the public? Who gets a space in the public sphere, or in the media, or in the world of books, movies, community? Who is recognized in the community? All of that is not based on our actions alone, not based on what we have done in our lives. It is based on power structure. There are amazing people out there who are doing something great, but probably nobody knows about them because of that power hierarchy. And like you said, that there are people who have. I know that it can be so intimidating. It is very. I mean, I find it amusing nowadays that speaking at a forum can be intimidating. People may get cold feet and people get nervous, but because now I've been doing this for a long time, but I have come across people who are like they really get nervous when it comes to speaking. But I really want to create that space, and of course everything I do is comes from what I feel like doing, and then I also involve other people into it. So I on my Twitter a lot of times I talk about myself and things that, and I am very proud of myself, the things I've done. But I do get see that there are a lot of haters out there who would say, oh, look at her, she's so full of herself, and she's all the time talking about herself, making it about herself, she's an attention seeker. It's not that. It's your space, and thanks to digital media we have this space now. We never had these kind of spaces, but now we have. So now we deserve that. We deserve that space, and we deserve that accolade from our little whoever is in our social media uh, channels and platforms. So thank you sharing. Swati, why don't you share a little bit more about yourself, your journey? You said you're a journalist.
I'm a third year student of journalism, but I have been freelancing for a little while. So I've written a few articles at the Citizen, and because like I haven't even completed my college, I haven't done much. But like, of course, I am looking forward to future opportunities. So I mean, this is all I have for me. I don't have a lot to celebrate right now because, like, when you talk about women as well and like talking, there's this one very interesting thing that I found out about was imposter syndrome, which was coined. The term was coined very very late. I think in 19. I'm not very sure about the year, but it is, and a lot of women, kind of goes through that. So there's no diagnosis of it, but it kind of is where, even if you're successful, you're always kind of doubting yourself, and you think that you are like creating a persona, a fake image, and you're constantly anxious and you're like expecting that someday you will get caught. So that is also one aspect why people do not come forward. The second, I think, would be, at least in India, the language would be like a very big aspect why I think people cannot celebrate themselves, is because English speaking is like it's a privilege. You go to a good school where you are fluent in English, and affording private schooling and everything that comes in play. And then the third is that, of course, knowledge, because you see, when you talk about social media spaces as well, the fact is that, in social media everybody is trying to up everybody else as well. So when a lot of people, like especially somebody like me, I get intimidated because I'm constantly checking if I am at par, like if I have the knowledge enough to at least get into the conversation. Then the second thing, that you will get ridiculed. So that initial first step is always daunting, I think. So that's it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I understand. Yeah, yeah. The language barrier, English speaking, it's all very. Everything is nothing is easy, of course. And this imposter syndrome is very real, and I of all the people have it. I mean, at one hand, I love myself and I celebrate myself and I share a lot about what I have done, what I've achieved. But the imposter syndrome is very real and always there because, like, for example, today I decided to do this space to sort of regain that, reinforce that confidence in myself, and I thought I will involve everybody else as well, because I was in the morning sharing all my some of these videos, some guest lectures I've given at a college. I was sharing it on my YouTube space. Now it was hosted in another, in the college, that college's Deshbandhu College's YouTube page, but it was not on my page. So what I did is I took it from there and I shared it on my own YouTube space. And then it was constantly a nagging thought in my head. What am I doing? Am I just blowing my own trumpet? Am I just doing it for my own glory? What is it? And just to fight with that imposter syndrome, I had to tell myself, no, it's not just getting attention or for the heck of it, or blowing my own trumpet for the heck of it. I should do it because it is informative for others. Others will hear it. It is somewhere inspirational. And believe me, even if two people are listening to your story, and everybody's story is inspiring, every life is inspiring. Everybody's story is inspiring. And even if like five people is listening to you on your Twitter space, that is something. That's not, nothing is of no value. That is of value. So the imposter syndrome is very real, but we have to constantly fight it. So yeah, and also this idea that I haven't achieved much. It's like one life, and there is a lot of long way to go. Maybe there is more to achieve, but there is already. I mean, there are whatever. I mean, there is always something that you've achieved that you would want to talk about. So it's okay to do that. And well, who else? Who else wants to share something? Anybody else? Uh, just a second. I just let me check this if people are sending me. Okay, no. There's some people joined and then they left. So it's also I will just share my a little bit about my experience. I have noticed it that when you share your life's stories or your achievements, um, people immediately think that okay, so life's achievements is still fair, it's still fine. You maybe it's if it's just my life. One is I am trying to bring attention to my life. Sometimes in the field of in the professional field, in the work field, when you give your opinions, when you write, maybe you've written an article and you are sharing that article at various spaces, and you probably feel that other people should share this article or read this article. You seek readership, you seek viewership. Suppose you made a video, you want more people to watch it. You've written an article, you want more people to read it. It's not because you always are seeking it for yourself. It's because you've created a knowledge by that article and you want people to read that for the sake of that knowledge. But I have in my life, I've come across, and I'm talking about work life, like in offices, in jobs. I've come across my colleagues, my seniors who have thought that I am only doing a particular thing because I'm trying to get attention. Whereas I am just trying to, I have an idea and I want to share that idea. Or I am just trying to, share knowledge. Um, so those are the kind of reasons why you you should blow your own trumpets. I have a request from one Sham. Um, okay. Okay, you can, Mrs. Whoever it. Does anybody wants to speak? I gave the speaker to. No, I don't think this person has wants to speak. Otherwise, I guess I'll just. We don't have many people here, only listeners, not many speakers. Swati, thank you for sharing your
Your
thoughts.
voice is breaking. Hello.
Yes, please speak. Um, that person got disconnected, I guess. Let's wait for a few more for a while and then we'll close this space. Of course, I did not plan it and I did not announce it in too much in advance. So there's not much listener here. One Tarun asked for the mic I gave, but it seems didn't happen. I don't know what happened. Yes, Mr. Tarun, I gave you the mic. I don't know what's going on. Hello. Yeah.
I mean, my point is that it is good to blow your own trumpet, but many a times what happens is that the garb of blowing your own trumpet, or because of the social media and everything, a lot of people are there on social media who just believe themselves to be everything. So what happens is whether and you see there is this left wing versus right wing going on all over the social media space. So what happens is that many a times you might have your own opinions, but particularly when the opinion is formed on half knowledge or uh, facts which are not complete in entirety, then what happens is that if you keep on pushing your agenda and your propaganda, so as to say, then it becomes a problem for the overall you know audience. So what I'm trying to say over here is that whenever you are blowing your own trumpet, or you're so as to say that I want to say whatever I want, has to have limits. And secondly, and the most important part, that uh, you should always be open for inquiry. And if a person is presenting some facts, because in today's times a lot of facts can be twisted, right? And they can be shown in a manner which seem that this is the entire truth, which it is not in many of the cases. So I was saying that secondly, it is more important that you be open for inquiry, and you should be willing to change your point of view. So just to add that, I'm not a left winger, uh, so I incline more towards the right. But many times I see that many people, and what their agenda is, that they want to push certain narratives, which is wrong, right? So we form an educated society, and I fundamentally believe that our inclinations may be different. One can be a left winger, one can be a right winger, one can be a centrist, one can be a liberal. But since we form the backbone of an educated society, we should always be open for inquiry. and we should always be willing to change our point of view if evidences come out that our point of view was not based on entire facts. Yeah, so this was my limited point.
Okay, thank you, Tarun.
Yeah, thank you.
Uh, just to my voice is a bit echoing now. Just to clarify,
Yes, yes.
that when I say blow our own trumpet, what I mean to say is talking about your own life,
Your
talking
own?
about your own story, your own journey, your own what you achieved in your life, your
Hey, that
success
is
and your
fine.
failures.
That is
And
fine. Everybody.
just a
No,
minute.
everybody. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure, sure. You can go on.
I don't know why my voice is echoing. Hello, um, hello. Is my voice still echoing?
No, no, it is perfectly fine.
Um, okay, so what I mean to say is that when I say blow your own trumpet, what I mean is talking about your own life, your own journey, your own story, and having the pride in your success, and also sharing your failures, and still be able to talk failures and introspect, and still be able to feel proud about your life. It's not about opinions about other matters that I'm talking about when I say blow our own trumpets. I'm talking about personal stories, personal journeys, personal lives, personal thoughts, your love, your romance, your journey, your jobs, your something that you've done in your life that you really think that people should stand up and clap for. You constantly have that imposter syndrome that Swati was talking about, that we feel insecure, we feel that अरे हमने तो लाइफ में कुछ किया ही नहीं है, but हमने किया है, जितना भी किया है, we deserve our space to celebrate that, to share that. That's what I'm saying. But at the same time, Tarun, I completely agree with your overall point that yes, we should always be open to to other people's opinions. We should be open to change our opinions, not be so rigid, and listen to others' dialogues. That's what we should be doing.
My point was more in respect to what you shared about professional writings and writings in newspapers and everything. So many a times what people do that they amplify their own life experiences into something very grand, that they generalize their own experiences in life. So for example, if I met a guy and he was not very good to me, then I will generalize that all these guys who are like that, who belong to a particular caste or religion, will be like that only, right? So then when you blow your trumpet that this has been my experience and my experience has been bad, so I fundamentally believe that this entire thing is bad, then it becomes a problem.
Okay. Okay. I got the point. Anybody else wants to? If Tekar, you wants to say something? Um, Disconnected again. Sarcasm TM. Do you want to speak? Anybody wants to speak? I guess Twitter spaces will keep breaking because the moment I give this mic to somebody's, people just get disconnected. It shows connecting and then it just disappears. Mr. Ravindra Gautam is saying that he's not able to join. Why? I don't know. God, so terrible. There are two more listeners. Jignesh. Who else wants to speak? Uh, Mr. Tarun has just to add on to what Tarun was talking about, incorporating our personal experiences into our opinions. Now, it's right, it's true that that opinions about grand things in life, such as politics, religion, democracy, media, social issues, anything that is grand, opinions about the grand things of the society should not be based upon your individual experiences. That is partly correct. But at the same time, a lot of feminists, anti-caste activists, black activists, people who have always been in the margins, have come and said that, what, our personal experiences can be incorporated into grand narratives to some extent. We're not saying that you have to blindly believe a Dalit woman's narrative, but listen to her. Let her create her own narrative on grand things such as, let's say, caste hierarchy or caste-based atrocities. Now, if a Dalit person comes and says that I have faced harassment, I have faced discrimination, and if you dismiss that, and then I have faced harassment and discrimination, therefore I think that India is a very casteist society. If this is an opinion that a person of a Dalit person is forming, and if you reject that opinion based on the logic that it is just your one individual opinion, so it has no value, that is wrong. I'm not, while that individual opinion cannot form the entirety of the grand narrative, it is still a valid narrative. And then you have to listen to more and more and more and more people of that same background and same identity and same caste to form the grander opinion, to populate the grand opinion with numbers. But it is to some extent, so partially it is correct that don't form grand opinions based upon your single individual experiences, but it's also important that those in the margins get to speak and form their own grand narratives based upon their personal experiences, because sometimes their personal experiences is so different and so unique from those of us who have always had the power. We don't understand what they go through. Therefore, that opinion or that personal narrative is important, and that's why blow your own trumpet. So, bringing it back to the idea, to the larger topic of the space, that is blowing your own trumpet. Now, let me give an example. Let me talk about a female journalist from a Dalit caste. That is a very unique achievement. Dalit person, being a woman and being a Dalit, which is a double marginalization, and then to become a journalist and have a space in this media, in this public sphere. So when that person talks very highly of themselves, and when that person says that, what, I have achieved this. I was a Dalit woman and I was the first person to study in my family and I achieved this. If you say, oh, but what have you achieved? It's just like you've just created maybe some videos. Maybe you've just got one YouTube channel. Maybe you've just written few articles. What is the big deal? Everybody can do that. That's what I'm trying to say. That Dalit person who has achieved something that they think is very big for them deserve to blow their own trumpet without, being jeered at, without being criticized, without being mocked for blowing their trumpets. They should be celebrated and they should be appreciated for blowing their own trumpets. So bringing that back from personal narrative to blowing our own trumpets, I have a request to be a speaker, and I have one limited something. I can't read the name. It is whistle something. I'm giving the mic to, as promised, whoever would ask for the mic, everybody will get the mic. But please, this is not the space to do either Hindu Muslim or Congress BJP politics, and no uncivil, no. What is this? What is the of the civil word? Anyway, uncivil होता है कि क्या होता है? Incivil होता है, uncivil. No uncivil behavior, please. चलिए, विसल जी आप.
हाय, नमस्कार. मैं जस्ट अभी आपको सुन ही रहा था और मैं देखता भी हूँ आपके ट्वीट्स वगैरह, तो काफ़ी इंटरेस्टिंग ट्वीट्स होते हैं. लेकिन अभी पिछले 5 मिनट में जब आप बोल रहे थे ना, सो आप दलित की किस तरीके से वो ऊपर उठे. आज आपको पता होगा दलित वो वाले दलित नहीं रह गए जो पहले होते थे. मैं आपको इसका पॉजिटिविटी की तरफ को लेके चलूंगा, वहां पे आपको बताने का प्रयास करूंगा. पहले क्या होता था, जातिवाद इतना चरम पे था या नहीं था, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं होता था. आज आपको ये है कि आप किसी के कपड़े से देख के ये नहीं बता सकते ये कौन सी जाति का है, कौन से मजहब का है. ऐसा अगर बता सकते हैं तो मुझे आप बता दीजिएगा. लेकिन उसी के साथ में आपने पिछले 5 मिनट में कम 10 से 15 बार दलित बोला. क्यों हम दलितों की ही बात कर रहे हैं? दलित हमारे भी उतने ही मतलब उतने ही वेट अ मिनट, दलित हमारे लिए उतने ही लाइक रेस्पेक्टेड है जितने हमारे लिए स्वर्ण है। मैं स्वर्णों में आता हूँ, मेरा उठना बैठना भी स्वर्णों में है, मेरा उठना बैठना दलितों में भी है, मेरे काफी अच्छे फ्रेंड्स भी दलित हैं और कई सारे मेरे फ्रेंड जैसे आप बता रहे थे अच्छे अच्छे पदों पे अच्छी अच्छी कंपनीज में काम कर रहे हैं। तो मैम विषय ये नहीं है कि वो दलित है, वो बोल सकता है, बोल सकती है, नहीं। विषय ये है कि बस कुछ ही गिने चुने मुद्दों को उठाया जाता है और उनको फिर किस तरीके से लाइक नरेट किया जाता है वो आप समझ सकते हैं। तीसरा, मैम मैं आपको लाइक एक 3 दिन पहले आपने ट्वीट किया था जब ये ईद थी और उसके साथ साथ में वो लाइक परशुराम जयंती भी थी, अक्षय तृतीया भी थी। आपने वहां पे कहीं भी नहीं लिखा कि लाइक जो हमारे दलित दलित बंधु है, जैसे वहां पे रविदास जयंती होती है, आपने उसके बारे में नहीं लिखा कि वो क्यों मनाई जाती है। एक्चुअली एटलीस्ट हमें तो पता चलता है कि वो रविदास जयंती क्यों मनाई जाती है। तो अभी तो मैं इतना ही बोलूंगा, आपको सुनना चाहूंगा, फिर मैं बात आगे आगे की बातें रखूंगा। थैंक यू।
Okay, thank you. Swati, you wants to say something?
Yeah. So whistle. I mean, I understand. I don't understand actually. I totally disagree with your narrative कि आप बार बार दलित को उठा के ऊपर क्यों कर रहे हैं. Because अगर आपको आप जो कह रहे हैं आजकल हम किसी के कपड़े देखकर नहीं पहचान सकते तो ये बहुत ही मतलब छोटा नजरिया है आपका चीजों को देखने का, बहुत ही लिमिटेड नजरिया है आपका देखने का. जब आप जाते हैं कहीं, अगर आप नहीं जाते, चलिए आपने कहा आपके सवर्णा दोस्त भी है, आपके दलित दोस्त भी है, but when people go out from the Dalit community, the first thing the other person asks to identify your caste full name, कि आपके नाम में पता चल जाता है आप कौन है. And a lot of people from the Dalit community, they change their last names to sometimes hide their identities. Okay, and the option is systematic. It's not on one की करें जो आप कह रहे हैं, that's called cognitive dissonance in psychology by the way, कि अगर मेरे साथ नहीं हुआ है इसका मतलब ये कहीं भी नहीं है. तो ये नैरेटिव आपका बिल्कुल ही गलत है. अगर आप कह रहे हैं कि क्या बोलते हैं ये चीज आनी नहीं चाहिए, कास्ट नहीं आना चाहिए, क्यों नहीं आना चाहिए? आप उनको 3,000 साल से दबाए जा रहे हैं और वो फाइनली, और अभी भी अगर आप जितने मेल जॉब्स देखे वो कौन करता है? सवर्णा करते हैं, बहुत कम, बहुत कम. Sare, they are people from the marginalized communities because they did not get the education for 3,000 years. You had social capital, you had educational capital, you had everything that you could have from generations. और अगर और एक सवर्णा अगर जो बार बार बातें होती हैं इस बारे में कि क्या बोलते हैं, अच्छा वो तो रिजर्वेशन से क्या बोलते हैं उसको सीट मिल गई. तो अगर आप इसको ही कंपेयर करें अमेरिकन उसके साथ अपार्थाइड मूवमेंट एंड ऑल, जहाँ पे ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट का डिस्क्रिमिनेशन होता है, दे गॉट द व्हेन फाइनली लॉज बनाए गए कि ठीक है कि everybody is equal, they were given monetary benefits as well, but you have problem sharing the fact कि आप 3,000 साल से उस पर बैठे हुए हैं और अब आप शेयर भी नहीं करना चाहते हैं. एंड you keep on beating the same narrative कि हम उन्हें दलित क्यों बोले या हम उसमें कास्ट लेंस क्यों ले आए. because everything that you do from marrying your father, if you are going to get married, your father will ask the caste of the bride, will ask आप कहीं खाने जा रहे हैं उस पे भी पूछा जाएगा. उनकी हिस्ट्री दबाई गई है, उनकी क्या बोलते हैं like there's so much oppression. And like the fact that you're pointing out कि using the word Dalit and आपको नहीं बोलना चाहिए is wrong. We are supposed to celebrate. We are supposed to celebrate them. We should identify our privileges. We should and like give the pass on the mic to them as well. So just having a few Dalit friends around you does not make you anti-caste. Does not make the world anti-caste either. The caste still remains there. Thank you.
I agree with Swati. और ये तो it's very obvious. I said there shouldn't be politics. So whatever you said, आपने जो भी बोला, आपका जो भी नाम है, you said you were civil, but घूम फिर कर बात आपने वही पॉलिटिक्स की करी. आप लेकर आए टॉपिक को उसी पे आए जो हमें सबको पता है कि क्या ट्विटर पे क्या होता है. So we all know, and that the very fact. I'll just give this much of reaction to what you said earlier, Mr. Whistle, whatever, is that the very fact that you had to speak with a reaction just because I said Dalits too many times just shows how rattled and how मतलब वो एक तरह का एक अंदर से जो एक तरह का ना पूरे समाज में अपकाश समाज में जो हमेशा पावर में रहे हैं उनमें एक तरह का अंदर से एक वो आ रहा है कि भाई इतना क्यों दलित दलित कर रहे हैं लोग भाई ये दलित लोग तो इनविजिबल थे ना ये तो मार्जिन्स में रहते थे ये दिखते नहीं थे कहीं पे भी और कभी दिखते भी थे तो वो दूर से ही पता चल जाता था कि दलित है कपड़ों से पता चल जाता था नाम से पता चल जाता था और काम से पता चल जाता था वो काम करते थे हमारे घरों में और वो आजकल वो हर जगह दिखते हैं अब तो वो सोशल मीडिया में दिखते हैं यूट्यूब में दिखते हैं अब तो वो अपने आप अपने पे कितना अटेंशन भी ला रहे हैं जब देखो कुछ ना कुछ बोलते रहते हैं कि हमने ये किया फलाना किया तो दैट इज गिविंग यू ए सेंस ऑफ फीलिंग कि भाई मेरा जो स्पेस था वो कम होता जा रहा है इस विश्व ब्रह्मांड में जो मैंने जगह ले रखी थी अपने लिए उस जगह में बहुत सारे दलित आ गए टू मच हो गया है दलित it is hate where it is coming from it is coming from hate it is coming from a fact that you don't want to share the space it is coming from the fact कि दलित अपना trumpets बजा रहे हैं they are blowing their own trumpets and the very fact that they are not coming to you they are not taking anything from you देखिए जब ये हम अपनी including that this whole idea of blowing our own trumpets जो मैंने जिस पे ये टॉपिक है हमारा मैं अपने ट्विटर स्पेस में दिन भर अपने बारे में मान लीजिए बोलती रहती हूँ कि मैंने ये किया मैं बहुत महान 30 मार खा हूँ मैंने बहुत सारा कुछ लाइफ में किया है मैंने बड़े सारे गेस्ट लेक्चर्स दिए हैं मैंने बड़े सारे ब्लॉग्स लिखे हैं मेरा तो आर्टिकल जो है दुनिया भर में 5 देशों में पब्लिश हो चुका है मैं अपने स्पेस में बोल रही हूँ मैं आपका स्पेस तो ले नहीं रही हूँ मैं आपके घर पे जाकर तो नहीं बोल रही हूँ अपने बारे में मैं अपने स्पेस में बोल रही हूँ तो जो भी अपने स्पेस में अपने आप को सेलिब्रेट कर रहा है अपना ट्रम्पेट्स ब्लो कर रहा है समाज को उससे दिक्कत नहीं होनी चाहिए क्योंकि वो अपने खुद को सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं लेकिन हम अक्सर देखते हैं कि द सोसाइटी गेट्स वेरी एंग्री कि भाई ये अपने बारे में इतना क्यों बोल रहे हैं क्योंकि इनको तो नहीं बोलना चाहिए था इनको तो चुप रहना चाहिए था इनको तो अटेंशन नहीं मिलना चाहिए था सारा अटेंशन तो मुझे मिलना चाहिए था है ना सो इट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम दैट सेंस ऑफ The same thing goes for feminism and this so-called men rights activists. अब ये men को लगता है कि ये महिलाएं जो है बहुत ज्यादा फेमिनिज्म करने लग गई है जब देखो महिलाएं अपने बारे में बात करती है और ये बाय द वे ये जो दिस होल आइडिया ऑफ बीइंग सेल्फ इफेसिंग एंड मॉडेस्टी ये भी ज्यादा महिलाओं के ऊपर ही होता था जब ये बना था it used to be on the women more applied because men who spoke about themselves कि मैंने ये किया है were considered leaders were considered speakers were considered inspirational figures in the society but women who did that were considered vain were considered women who are more interested in shallow and petty and vain and women that's why women never wrote autobiography for the longest time people when they learned to read and write and when book writing became a thing 500 years 1000 of years ago when printing came when the publication industry came, book writing was something that women were not doing. Women who you wanted to write books had to take male names because it was considered कि writing का काम जो है वो male करेंगे. So again, that is an attempt to bring attention to yourself, to blow your own trumpets. And then that's when the feminism, this whole entire idea of celebrating yourself also comes from there. Comes from feminist values, comes from women saying that we want to tell our stories. मेरी लाइफ की जो भी कहानी है मुझे बोलना है, चाहे वो कितना भी सिली लगे, कितना भी बोरिंग लगे, कुछ भी हो, मुझे तो बोलना है अपनी कहानी. मैं अपने बारे में किताब लिखूंगी. So all of that boils down to this idea of self, this idea of individuality and celebrating yourself. And to recap, as I was saying, there's a famous philosopher, Hannah Arendt, and she said that only by talking ourselves, only by presenting ourselves into the public sphere, सबके सामने समाज में खुले में अपने आप को रखने से ही हमारी ह्यूमैनिटी जो है वो बनती है. अदरवाइज तो हम सिर्फ हार मास के चीजें हैं, पैदा हो गए हैं हार मास से बने हुए मैटर्स है. We're just a cluster of matters and atoms and molecules. How do we become human? How do we gain our consciousness? How do we gain our individuality? We do that by placing ourselves in the public. So And coming back to Dalit atrocities, you have no idea what you're talking about, and I don't want to go into that because it will get political. But just look at the numbers. Look at the number of people who are, who occupies positions of power in the society, in the world, Indian society, in judiciary, media, academics. Just see the number of people who occupy space, and then you will know. Okay, I'll give you the you get your chance to share your view again, but only for a brief moment. Please don't drag this conversation. Okay.
ओके, थैंक यू। सो मैं स्वाति जी को भी सुन रहा था और आपको भी सुन रहा था, और स्वाति जी बड़े आसान, बड़े लाइक चालाकी से इसको लेके ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट मूवमेंट की तरफ को, जो वहाँ पे होता है। दिक्कत यहाँ नहीं है कि रिजर्वेशन को वो लेके आगे, रिजर्वेशन आप रखिए ना, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। रिजर्वेशन रखना, और रिजर्वेशन जिस जरूरत को चाहिए, दलितों में ही मैं बात कर रहा हूँ, मैं स्वर्णों की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, दलितों में ही जिन जिन लोगों को रिजर्वेशन चाहिए उनको नहीं मिल रहा है। आपको मैं बताता हूँ, देखिए, एक किसी परिवार को आज रिजर्वेशन मिल गया, उनके फैमिली में 2-3 लोग सरकारी नौकरी में आ गए, ठीक है। आज भी उनको लाइक उनके बच्चे, उनके लाइक अगर आप बात करोगे, बच्चे जो भी है वो पेड ट्री जो बनता जाएगा वो उसको यूज करेगा, ओके। लेकिन वो वाले दलितों की मैं बात कर रहा हूँ जो पहले से ही जिनको रिजर्वेशन का लाभ नहीं मिला, बिल्कुल मिलना चाहिए रिजर्वेशन का लाभ, बिकॉज कहीं ना कहीं वो जो समानता है ना वो आनी चाहिए। लेकिन उन लोगों को जो रिजर्वेशन मिल गया, पहले मिल गया, उसके बाद उसके बच्चे ने ले लिया, उसके बाद उसके बच्चे के बच्चे ने ले लिया। लेकिन अगर बात करेंगे तो जो एक ऐसा फर्म है जहाँ पे मिलना ही चाहिए, जो एक ऐसा तबका है जहाँ पे आपको मिलना ही चाहिए, वहां पे आपको नहीं मिल रहा। आप दलित, आप गांव देहात की तरफ चले जाइएगा तो वहां पे आपको देखने को मिलेगा कि कितने लोग, कितने दलित प्रभाव, मतलब मैं तो बहुत मानता हूँ कि ये प्रभावशाली लोग हैं, लेकिन उनको रिजर्वेशन ना मिलने के कारण वो पीछे रह जाते हैं। क्यों रह जाते हैं पीछे? क्योंकि जिनको पहले रिजर्वेशन मिल चुका है वो सक्षम हो चुके हैं, स्टिल वो अपनी पावर का यूज करके उनके अपने बच्चों को अंदर लेके आ जाते हैं। दूसरा, संयुक्ता जी आप ये कह रहे थे कि लाइक हेट की बात आप कर रहे थे। देखिए ऐसा है, जब आप किसी कम्युनिटी, किसी सोसाइटी में जाते हैं ना, तो वहां आपको कई सारे पैरामीटर्स देखने पड़ते हैं। पहली बात आपने कहा, बड़े मेरी वाली बात आपने इको की, जो स्वाति मैम लाइक मना कर रही थी कि ऐसा नहीं। पहला ये था कि लाइक लोगों, आपने ये कहा था कि लाइक कपड़ों से आप उनको पहचान सकते हो, मैंने भी यही कहा था। आज के समय में ऐसा नहीं है। आज का दलित एक एडवांस दलित है, और एडवांस होना भी चाहिए। अगर आप वक्त के साथ नहीं बदलोगे तो आप पीछे रह जाओगे। ये हमेशा वक्त ने सिखाया और आगे भी सिखाता जाएगा। लेकिन दिक्कत यहाँ है कि जो प्रभावशाली लोग हैं ना, उनके साथ में भेदभाव हो रहा है। और आप जो लाइक जैसे आपने कहा, मैं ये मेरा ट्विटर स्पेस है, बिल्कुल आप इसको यूज करिए। कौन कहता है ये पब्लिक डोमेन है? आप इसको यूज कीजिए, आप इसमें स्पेस बनाइए, आप 1 घंटा बोलिए, 2 घंटा बोलिए, कोई आपको नहीं रोकेगा। आई थिंक यही तो फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच है, यही तो फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन है। और अगर हम इसको भी कह देंगे कि भाई ठीक है, संजुक्ता जी आज से स्पेस नहीं बनाएगी बिकॉज मैं स्वर्ण हूँ, नहीं बनाएगी, तो वो तो कहीं ना कहीं फिर आपकी जो फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच, फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन है, उसको दबाने का प्रयास है। नहीं, दिक्कत तो यहाँ पे नहीं है। दिक्कत ये है कि 1-2 विषय जो आजकल आता है उसको लाइक उठाया जाता है, बाकी और भी चीजें हैं जो उठनी चाहिए वो नहीं उठ पाती। जैसे उठनी क्या चाहिए, दलितों को जब आरक्षण मिलता है या दलितों को जब पोस्ट मिलती है, तो उसके बावजूद भी आज भी दलित वर्ग गरीब है। क्यों गरीब है? कभी इस पे किसी ने बात की? दलित वर्ग इसलिए गरीब है क्योंकि जो अमीर होते गए, जो अमीर थे वो अमीर होते गए, जो गरीब थे वो आज भी, आपने देखा होगा, और मोची जो शू हमारा ठीक करता है, हालांकि मैं माफी चाहूंगा ऐसे के लिए, वो मोस्टली वही होता है। एक और चीज आपने ये कहा कि लाइक दलितों को हमें दबाया जाता है। नहीं, आपको अगर दबाया जाता मैम, मतलब सप्रेस किया जाता, तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि भारत में जो आज जो हम 20वीं 21वीं सदी में जी रहे हैं, उस तरीके से पहले आप जाके देखोगे तो पता चलेगा। मैडम बोल रही थी स्वाति जी कि 3000 सालों तक हमने उन पर राज किया। नहीं राज किया, राज तो किया ही नहीं, उनको अपने साथ में लेके चले। और अगर आप देखोगे तो किसी भी राजा महाराजा के अगर दरबार में आप जाओगे तो सबसे ज्यादा तवज्जो, सबसे ज्यादा आगे कौन मिलता था? यही दलित परिवारों में से लोग मिलते थे। आप हंसते रहिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है। नो 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 नो, ऐसा देखो संयुक्ता मैम मैं फिनिश कर लूं, आप उसके बाद बोलेगा।
मैं तो 5000 बोलने वाली थी।
क्या
भैया
क्या क्या?
सुनो, स्वाति ने 3000 बोला था, मैं तो 5000 बोलने वाली थी।
आप 5000 को 7000 करिए, 2000 साल मेरे भी बढ़ा दीजिए, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है मुझे। वो आप जितना मर्जी बोल सकते हैं फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच
Like I
और फ्रीडम ऑफ एक्सप्रेशन में। लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं बात यह है कि दबाने का प्रयास होता है। तो स्वाति जी को माइक मिला है, आपको भी माइक मिला है, मुझे भी माइक मिला है, तरुण को भी माइक मिला है, नीचे लिस्नर है, इनको भी माइक मिलेगा। ऐसा नहीं है आज के समय में। मैम रुक जाइए, एक सेकंड स्वाति जी, रुक जाओ, आप वेट करो। आज के समय में हर कोई, आपके पास हर किसी के पास सोशल मीडिया एक्सेस है। अपने अधिकारों का प्रयोग हम भी करते हैं, आप भी करते हैं। और हमें विषय ये नहीं है कि दलितों पर अत्याचार होता है, सवर्णों पर अत्याचार होता है। विषय ये है कि इस देश को कैसे अत्याचार मुक्त बनाया जाए। सवर्णों पे जो अत्याचार होते हैं, दलितों पे। और एक और स्वाति जी ने बोला, कितने आसानी से बोला कि भाई जब आप अगर आप किसी दलित परिवार की लड़की से मैरिज करते हो या शादी का है, तो पहले आपके परिवार वाले पूछेंगे कि लाइक लड़की कौन है। वो तो मेरे हिसाब से हर कोई पूछता है। मुझे नहीं लगता कि इसमें कहीं आप इसको ये लेके आएंगे कि भाई जानबूझ के पूछा गया। हर कोई पूछेगा।
That
आप
is the point, Visanji. That is the exact point. The systematic oppression. कि ये
मैडम,
पूरा सिस्टम बना दे। नहीं, एक सेकंड विसल जी, मैं आपको बताती हूँ कि आप जो कह रहे हैं कि तो सब पूछेंगे, क्यों पूछ रहे हैं सब? क्योंकि ये इतना ज्यादा रैम्पेंट है, इट्स
अरे
इंजेक्टेड इन
अरे अरे
सोसाइटी। दूसरा चीज जो आप कह रहे हैं, आज स्वाति जी माइक पकड़ के बैठे हैं, आपको क्या पता मेरे लाइफ के बारे में, मैं कैसे आई इस माइक पे? बिकॉज माई forefathers worked hard, they came here, एंड नाउ एंड माई फादर एज अ वुमेन, जो मुझे एजुकेशन बोली, मेरे घर पे पेट्रियार्की तो रैम्पेंट मेरे घर पे भी होती है, हर जगह है। बट फिर भी मुझे एक वो मौका मिला क्या कि ठीक है तुम्हें एजुकेशन दो। मैं आई वेंट टू गुड स्कूल, अपनी इंग्लिश ठीक करी, एंड अब में है इतना कॉन्फिडेंस कि मैं आज आके यहाँ पे बात कर रही हूँ, संजुक्ता मैम से बात कर रही हूँ, आपसे बात कर रही हूँ। दैट मैं बता सकती हूँ, मैं फ्रॉम माई कम्युनिटी, आई एम अ गोरखा, आई एम एन ओबीसी वुमेन, आई कैन टेल यू दिस फॉर श्योर। मेरे खुद के कजिन्स विल नेवर बी ऑन ट्विटर, विल नॉट स्पीक आउट लाइक दिस। अब आप ये बोलेंगे कि ये तो अपना पर्सनल बायस ले आई, ठीक है ले आई, बट दिस इज व्हाट इट इज। अगर आप ये कहना चाह रहे हैं हर चीज पे कि हम अभी सबको साथ में लेके चलते, नहीं, आपको जानना है कि क्या बोलते हैं, अट्रोसिटीज की न्यूज जो अगर अभी आपको ज्यादा लग रही है, वो तो अभी भी ज्यादा नहीं आई है। हर रोज कोई ना कोई मरता है, हर रोज किसी ना किसी का रेप होता है ऑन द बेस ऑफ कास्ट। और आप अगर शहर की गलियों में घूम के बोल रहे हैं कि हम सब एक जैसे दिखते, नहीं दिखते हैं हम एक जैसे, क्योंकि आप बहुत ही छोटे से सेक्शन को देख रहे हैं बिसिल जी। एंड अस people from us, people like me who are from the marginalized community, we have to fight and we have to express again and again why we are oppressed. Why can't you go and read yourself? Read, मतलब सब कुछ पढ़िए ना, हर जगह लिखा है, पर आप लोग नहीं पढ़ना चाहते हैं। एज अ वुमेन, एक औरत के लिए ये सामने आके कहना कि ये मेरा क्रेडिट है, नहीं माना जाएगा। सॉफ्ट, आपको अगर टेक्नोलॉजी की भी मैं समझाऊं, अगर हम ये ब्लो या ट्रम्पेट वाले पे चीज पे आ जाते हैं, सॉफ्ट साइंसेस का एक पूरा कैटेगरी क्रिएट कर दिया गया है, जहाँ पे वो कैटेगरी में जस्ट बिकॉज women आर मोर प्रोमिनेंट, तो उसको सॉफ्ट साइंस बोल दिया है, लाइक दैट साइंस इज सॉफ्ट। व्हाई? बिकॉज देयर इज अ सिस्टमैटिक ऑपरेशन। So I
ओके,
mean, you
अभी
need to
अभी
educate yourself.
ओके,
I'm sorry, this is your
नो नो नो
points are
नो नो
not
नो नो
very
नो नो,
valid.
आपने एक्चुअली, मैंने यहाँ एक भी बात ऐसी नहीं की जो मुझे लगे कि मैं, आपको लगे कि मैं अनएजुकेटेड हूँ।
विशल भाई
दूसरा,
मैं बोल
I'm
लो
not
कुछ।
saying you're
हाँ बोलो ना, बोलो
uneducated.
बोलो
You
बोलो,
are not
करण
educated
करण।
about this topic that you are giving
अरे
information about.
कुछ
ओके
मेरे को भी
ओके,
बोलने
करण
दो यार
प्लीज।
भाई, थोड़ा एक
And
दो शब्द मुझे बोलने दो। नहीं, आप देखो, स्वाति जी बोल रही है, सही बोल रही है, ऐसी बात नहीं है। क्या बोलते हैं, मुझे नहीं पता कि लोग गांव में कितने गए हो कि नहीं गए, मेरा तो संबंध है गांव से। ऐसा नहीं है, मतलब डिस्क्रिमिनेशन तो अभी भी है, ऐसी बात बिल्कुल भी अभी भी है, उसके अभी इफेक्ट्स खत्म नहीं हुए हैं। अभी ये कहना कि इतने साल से हम लोग साथ में लेके चल रहे हैं, ऐसी बात नहीं है। डिस्क्रिमिनेशन तो अभी भी है, कम हुआ है लेकिन अभी भी है, काफ़ी है, ठीक है ना। लेकिन मेन मुझे लगा था, जो कुछ लोग जो होते हैं ना, जो एक ही बीन बजाते रहते हैं, उसकी टापली बजाते रहते हैं कि भाई रिलीजन के नाम पे मुस्लिम्स का डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हो रहा है। भाई बिल्कुल हो रहा है, लेकिन जो लोग इसके चैंपियंस बनते हैं ज़्यादातर केसेस में, वो सिर्फ इसका फ़ायदा उठाते हैं भाई कि अपने फ़ायदे के लिए। तो 70 ईयर्स हमारी कंट्रीज का इंडिपेंडेंट हो गया, अगर हम लोग सही डायरेक्शन दिखते कि मतलब अगर हम दिल के में सही में चिंता होती क्या, तो हम सही जगह इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं उनके। सिर्फ रिजर्वेशन देकर हमने छोड़ दिया भाई, लो हो जाओ, तुम्हारा भला हो जाएगा इससे। तो कितना भला हुआ 75 ईयर्स में, नेक्स्ट 75 ईयर्स में कितना हो जाएगा। तो मतलब अगर हम सही में, अगर उसकी उनकी फिक्र होती है हमको, तो हम उनके लिए फ्री एजुकेशन कर देते हैं कि भाई ये आपके कॉलेजेस में आपको अच्छे स्कूल्स खोल देते हैं, हेल्थ सर्विसेज फ्री में दे देते हैं। मतलब 75 ईयर्स के बाद भी हमको क्या हमने देखा उसको। और जहाँ तक आपने बताया कि आप ओबीसी हैं, आपके साथ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हुआ, तो भाई ओबीसी एक बहुत बड़ा अम्ब्रेला टर्म हो जाता है। इसके अंदर में क्या बताऊँ, जैसे हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी भी ओबीसी में आते हैं, बहुत सारे राजपूत कास्ट भी हैं ओबीसी में आ जाते हैं, देश के 85% मुस्लिम्स भी हैं, वो भी ओबीसी में आते हैं। तो ओबीसी कोई ऐसा नहीं है कि मतलब हो सकता है कि भाई आपके साथ कुछ हो, पर मैं जानता नहीं हूँ, लेकिन ऐसा कहना कि ओबीसी ऑल आर डिस्क्रिमिनेटेड, इट्स नॉट ट्रू अकॉर्डिंग टू मी। आई हैव सीन दैट। बस
नहीं,
ठीक है, थैंक यू।
I agree. I agree. It's an umbrella term, और honestly मुझे खुद एक्सेप्ट करने में बहुत टाइम लगा. I wouldn't even get into my personal thing, but when you talk about reservation, basically it's about representation as well. It's not just monetary benefits. अगर ऊपर सिर्फ सवरना बैठेंगे तो वो क्यों सोचेंगे कि किसी दलित इंसान के पास. And
नहीं, मैं
like
आपकी बात
I'm
से
not. नहीं, I
बात से मैं
agree. I'm agree with you. I agree with you, Tarun, कि OBCs में बहुत ज़्यादा और मुझे अपना privilege accept करती हूँ. I am a privileged person. I was just trying to make a point, of course, and there's a lot of Rajputs as well in it, and of course, there's अगर मुझे mic बढ़ाना होगा, I will always go down and not up because the
आप
people
सही
who are
बोल रही
not
हैं
heard, they need to be heard. That's it. Thank you.
या वही मैं कह रहा था कि क्या बोलते हैं, आपकी बात सही है, क्या लेकिन हमें जो सही डायरेक्शन में दिखना चाहिए इसके लिए कि सही स्टेप्स क्या होंगे इसके लिए. अगर सिर्फ रिजर्वेशन देना तो काफ़ी नहीं है ना, रिजर्वेशन बहुत जरूरी है, लेकिन मैं भी देखता हूँ कि जैसे मेरे कॉलेज में, जैसे पढ़ा, मैं इंजीनियर हूँ, मैंने IT में पढ़ा है, लेकिन बहुत सारे मेरे क्लास में जो बंदे थे SC ST के बंदे थे, लेकिन उनके फादर भी गवर्नमेंट जॉब में थे, उनकी मदर भी गवर्नमेंट जॉब में थे, उन्होंने कॉन्वेंट स्कूल में पढ़ाई कर रखी है. दे डोंट नीड रिजर्वेशन. ओके, लेकिन मेरे गाँव में जैसे बहुत बंदे हैं जो आज भी मतलब हमारे खेतों में काम करते हैं, मतलब दे नीड रिजर्वेशन, दे नीड प्रॉपर सिस्टम टू ओवरकम दिस फीलिंग, लेकिन उनको नहीं मिल पाता, उनको मालूम ही नहीं उनको रिजर्वेशन का बेनिफिट मिलेगा, उनको मालूम ही नहीं. मेन बात तो ये है, उनको मतलब अब उनको जगह बताओगे ना तो बहुत चीज़ें पर उनको कुछ मालूम ही नहीं है, उनको सही चीज़ के बारे में, और चलो फायदा उठाते जाते हैं बस. थैंक यू.
And that is why reservation is not supposed to be monetary. Just 1 minute, Sanjukta, I'll
Yeah,
just
yeah, Swati, go ahead.
continue. Yeah, just it's not supposed to be monetary. It's not just about money. It's about representation. I'm again emphasizing on this, Tarun. ये कह रहे हैं कि एक जनरेशन उनके मम्मी पापा क्या बोलते हैं गवर्नमेंट जॉब में और वो फिर भी फायदा उठा रहे. वो फायदा नहीं उठा रहे because आपको like the number of people who are actually from the Dalit community is a very huge chunk, a very huge chunk. But the people in power is like really really small. तो वो जब कोई सवरना ऊपर आता है, अगर आप न्यूज डेस्क की ही बात करें, न्यूज क्यों नहीं आती है ज्यादा दलित अट्रॉसिटीज पे, अब आने लगी है, पहले नहीं आती थी, बिल्कुल भी नहीं आती थी, बस बिकॉज द एडिटर्स वर सवरना. अगर आप उसमें अगर आप जब रिजर्वेशन का टच ऐड करते हैं तो बात ये होती है कि ऊपर देयर समबडी इन पावर, तो उसकी भी बात जब देन इम्पोर्टेंट डिस्कशंस आर हैपनिंग तो उसको भी वहां पे इंक्लूड करा जाएगा एंड दैट पॉइंट विल आल्सो गेट इन एंड कहीं ना कहीं then they'll start talking about a community and how to uplift them. It's about upliftment. It's again not about monetary, it's not about merit, it's not about seats or whatever. It's about representation, be it anybody. That's it.
आई एग्री, बस मेरा यही पॉइंट था कि जो हम लोग सिस्टम जो हमारे देश में चलता रहा है ना 75 ईयर से, वो सही नहीं है इस चीज़ को करने के लिए. वो मतलब और भी चीज़ों पर ध्यान देना चाहिए, ठीक है ना, क्योंकि ऐसे सिस्टम हमारी कंट्री में काफ़ी ह्यूज पॉपुलेशन है और सबका बेनिफिट सब तक
Okay,
नहीं पहुँच रहा है. ओके, थैंक यू.
Okay, can I just add a few things now here? I've heard both of you. I'll just say that this other person who was earlier, he is now disconnected. वो कह रहे थे कि डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं है और स्वाति को माइक मिल गया है, इसका मतलब डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं है. तो मैं सिर्फ इतना बोलूंगी कि जब आप अखबार खोलते हो या न्यूज़ देखते हो और आपको पता चलता है कि किसी दलित को मारा गया क्योंकि उसने पानी का ग्लास पकड़ लिया था या किसी चेयर पे बैठ गया था किसी सवर्ण के सामने या कहीं पे किसी के सामने खाना खा लिया था, चुटपुट इस तरह की घटनाएं, मेरे पास एक आर्काइव है, मैं गूगल स्प्रेडशीट मेंटेन करती हूँ, एक आर्काइव मेंटेन हूँ, इस तरह की घटनाएं मेरे पास 50-60 मैंने ऑलरेडी, और मैं रेगुलरली नहीं कर पाती हूँ, टाइम इतना नहीं मिलता है, पर मैं गूगल अलर्ट्स लगा रखा है मैंने दलित एट्रोसिटीज का, और जब भी न्यूज में कुछ आता है तो मैं उसको आर्काइव करती हूँ. तो अगर आपको इंडिविजुअल एक स्वाति का कपड़ा और अगर मीना कोतवाल को कुछ दलित जर्नलिस्ट है वो, उसको देखकर आपको अगर लगेगा कि डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं है, या आपको लगेगा कि आज का दलित जो है, लाइक द अदर पर्सन वाज सेइंग, आपको लगेगा कि आज का दलित जो है वो बहुत एडवांस हो गया है, आज का दलित के पास तो गाड़ी भी है और वो तो ऑफिस भी जाता है, इफ दैट इज, वो देखकर अगर आपको लगता है कि देश में डिस्क्रिमिनेशन खत्म हो गया है, या आपको ये लगता है कि डिस्क्रिमिनेशन कभी भी नहीं था, 3000 साल पहले नहीं था, तो आई डोंट नो व्हाट टू से अबाउट दैट काइंड ऑफ लॉजिक. वी ऑल अग्री, आई थिंक एवरीबडी इज इंटेलिजेंट इनफ टू अंडरस्टैंड एंड अग्री दैट दिस इज अ बैड लॉजिक. Dalit atrocities are reported every day in the country, so there is a lot of Dalit atrocities, there is no denial of that. The other fact, these are hardcore facts, and I am a very rational person, I'm a very logical person, and I believe in numbers and hardcore facts. मैं ना this kind of fuzzy logic और feelings पे कम बोलती हूँ. मैं इसीलिए मेरे ट्वीट पे आप देखोगे कि मैं सबसे ट्रोल होती हूँ, क्योंकि मैं दलितों से भी ट्रोल हो जाती हूँ, क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि मैंने उनके साइड के लिए इनफ नहीं बोला, और मैं हिंदुत्व वालों से भी ट्रोल होती हूँ. दैट्स बिकॉज आई बिलीव इन हार्ड फैक्ट्स. बट द हार्ड फैक्ट्स इज दैट, two hard facts that I just want to say is that yes, the reservation has not been able to trickle down to the last mile. There is the system of reservation, but the system of reservation has not done justice to the idea of representation in spaces of power. Power structure जो है, judiciary, legislative, bureaucracy, media, academics, industrialists, ये जो हमारे power structures हैं, जहाँ पे पैसा भी है और power भी है, तो वो जगह क्यों वहां पे दलित क्यों, वहां पे क्यों 90 और 10 की रेशियो क्यों है, 9:1 की रेशियो क्यों है वहां पे क्यों, जबकि देश की आबादी जो है वहां पे 80%, only 20% is Savarn, upper caste, and the rest of them are like OBCs and Dalits. But power structures में, judiciary, media, etc. में overwhelming occupancy 90% से 80 to 90% occupancy सवर्णों की है. क्यों है? क्योंकि वो systematic oppression रहा है for 3,000, 5,000 years. Ever since the civilization has come into, the oppression has remained because caste has been embedded into the very creation of the society, which is this, it's there in the Manusmriti, whatever. I don't want to go into all of that. Everybody knows about that. I don't want to make it all about the caste. But ये बोलना जरूरी है कि इंडिविजुअल एक्सपीरियंसेस के बेसिस पे आप ये जब इस तरह की आर्ग्यूमेंट्स लेकर आप पब्लिक स्पेस में जब बोलते हैं, कम्युनिटी के सामने, सबके सामने आप बोलते हैं कास्ट खत्म हो गया है, कोई डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं है, क्योंकि मैंने तो किसी गिरे पड़े गरीब दलित को नहीं देखा है, मैंने तो हमेशा एडवांस दलित देखा है. ये गलत है. बट एट द सेम टाइम आई एग्री दैट our system of reservation has not been able to do justice to the idea of representation. वो क्यों नहीं हुआ है? और ये इसका आंसर, और जो दूसरा सवाल आप लोगों का है, अब ये दोनों के दोनों चले गए हैं, पर फिर भी मैं बोल देती हूँ. जो दूसरा सवाल ये था कि क्यों आप जो एक तबके के लोग हैं, जैसे कि मैं लिबरल, हम सिर्फ एक ही चीज पे बात करते हैं, हम दूसरी चीज पे बात क्यों नहीं करते हैं? अब मैंने क्यों ईद मुबारक बोल दिया, मैंने अक्षय तृतीया को क्यों नहीं मुबारक बोल दिया, या मतलब वट एवर हैप्पी, आई डोंट इवन नो कि अक्षय तृतीया होता क्या है, उसको कैसे बोलते हैं, क्या सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, उसमें बोलते क्या है, अक्षय तृतीया हैप्पी हो या अच्छा हो, क्या बोलते हैं मुझे नहीं पता. हैप्पी दिवाली बोलते हैं, पर अक्षय तृतीया में बोलते क्या है मुझे ये भी नहीं पता, क्योंकि मैंने इस बारे में कभी सुना भी नहीं है बचपन से आज तक. मैं दिल्ली में पली बड़ी हूँ, मैं बंगाली हूँ, बट आई हैव नेवर हर्ड ऑफ अक्षय तृतीया. एनीवे, द पॉइंट इज कि हम क्यों नहीं बोलते हैं. तो जब पब्लिक स्फीयर में हम बात इसकी कर रहे हैं कि लेट्स ब्लो आवर ओन ट्रम्पेट्स, लेट्स सेलिब्रेट आवर ओन लाइव्स, इस मुद्दे पे जब आप ये चीज पूछते हैं कि आप लोग क्यों दलितों के बारे में बोल रहे हैं, या क्यों दलित लाइफ नैरेटिव के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, क्यों नहीं आप फलाने के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, क्यों नहीं आप ढिमके के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं, उसका उत्तर यही है कि हमें ये बोलना है, हम बोल रहे हैं. आपको जो बोलना है आप अपना स्पेस बना लो और आप बोल लो, ठीक है. दैट्स वन आंसर. द अदर आंसर कि क्यों रिजर्वेशन का जो सिस्टम मॉडल है, जो सिस्टम है, वो दलित को अपलिफ्ट क्यों नहीं कर पाई, वो उसका आंसर आप ढूंढे ना, सवर्णों के ऊपर है ना. आप जो भी हो, आपका जो भी कास्ट है, आप सवर्ण हो, आप उसका आंसर खुद ढूंढे, जाकर रिसर्च करें और उसके बारे में कुछ करें, कुछ उसका हल निकालें. डू योर ओन एक्शंस to uplift the Dalits and find out the answer why the reservation system has probably not done enough for the representation, to do justice to the representation idea. The answer to that is not that let's kill reservation system, or that all the Dalits have occupied the reservation and they have not given chance to others. No, the answer to that is that you do your own work and you take up the responsibility of finding the answer as to why certain castes have not been lifted despite the fact that there has been reservation for a long time in the country. That's the answer. I will just recap what was the original topic of it, which was celebrating your personal life narratives, celebrating your journeys, and blowing your own trumpets. The idea that we should not blow our own trumpets and we should be modest is a very archaic idea, perhaps created at a time when there were less people in the universe and only few people got to talk about their lives in the public sphere. Today we live in a social media space where we all have our own little channels, our little spaces. And in those spaces, we have the right to share our life and celebrate our life in whatever glory and pride we want. And others should not mock us for that. Others should not jeer at us for that. And I'm saying it because I do it a lot and I get a lot of hate just for loving myself. I mean, I don't know where my tweet is. Should have pinned that tweet. The number of people who hated me just because I said that I am awesome. It's just bizarre. It's just crazy. You hate someone because that person thinks that that person is awesome. I mean, इस देश में सबसे ज्यादा नार्सिसिस्ट अगर कोई है जो मुझे भी बीट करता है, मे बी आई एम द मोस्ट नार्सिसिस्टिक पर्सन इन इंडिया, बट समबडी हु बीट्स मी टू इट इज मिस्टर नरेंद्र मोदी. और उन्हीं के जो भक्त है वो मुझे हेट करते हैं फॉर बीइंग नार्सिसिस्ट. So just to put that on the record. And Mr. Mukesh, you get the mic. As promised, everybody who wants to speak, please raise your hand. Everybody will get to speak on this space. So yeah, please go ahead and ask for the mic.
Yeah, thank you, Sanjukta, for giving me a chance to speak. When I entered the chat, I was listening mostly about the Dalit discussion. I wanted to chip in few things. I come from a totally different perspective. I'm a Nepalese Brahmin who is coming from minority community in Nepal. So basically, I'm in a position where I can see the both sides of the coin. And I did my studies in India, so I can totally understand and relate to the arguments that Swati has been presenting. And my other friend, who I think left, I don't know, I don't remember his name, was speaking. So just to, I'll just give a brief summation of or my own interpretation of whatever discussion was going on. And as you rightly summarized that the reservation has not reached to the Dalits. It's true, actually, even in Nepal, the reservation that comes on the name of the Madhesis, the social group that I belong to is a minority and it's not very well represented, is eaten up by the Brahmins of the minority community. Same goes for the women. There's a reservation for the women, but the upper high caste women of Nepali society, they eat up all the reservation. So what I personally feel regarding this discussion is there's an honest discussion from all the sides. There's a lack of honesty from the Madhesis to say that, look, if you are giving reservations to the Madhesis, don't give it to the Madhesi Brahmin, give it to the Madhesi Dalit, Madhesi Janjati and other people. Same goes for the woman. If there is a reservation for the woman, okay, don't give it to the upper caste woman, right? So there's a good lack of honesty in all aspect in general in our society, and that I think is the major problem. The problem is not that we don't have good mechanism. The problem is not that we don't we lack how to implement it. The problem is the intention itself. एंड दैट आई थिंक अब जब तक ये इंटेंशन सही नहीं होगा हमारे पॉलिटिशियन का, हमारे ब्यूरोक्रेट्स का, हमारे सोसाइटी के इंटेलेक्चुअल्स का, जब तक हम न्यूज रूम में सारे ब्राह्मण्स बैठे रहेंगे और वो बोलेंगे कि भाई दलित के लिए पॉलिटिशियंस कुछ नहीं कर रहा है, सोसाइटी कुछ नहीं कर रहा, तब तक ये हिपोक्रेसी लगता है. So with that, I would just like to end the topic on the Dalits, my generalization, and not talking about blowing my own trumpet. Yeah, I come from a village जहाँ पे electricity भी नहीं था. I got a very good chance, got good scholarships to study in India. Right now, I'm in UAE. I'm doing good. I'm working with a space agency here. I'm building satellites. So yeah, I'm happy. But just to end my discussion to say, why are you bothered about people being angry or people being sad about you being awesome? Let them be. Let their life, let their miserable Nafrati chintus be miserable in their own lives. Why do you even bother? You should not be bothered about that. These Nafrati chintus can hate you as much as they want. That's their life. That's the way they think they are awesome. You are awesome in yourself. You are a complete, you are a very vibrant individual, and you should be the way you are. You should not even look back and say, देखो वो लोग मेरे बारे में क्या बोले. Why do you care? So with this, I'll just end up my monologue, and I hope I did justice to the time and didn't eat up much of time, and passing on the mic to the host. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very lovely, Mukesh. And yes, we should ignore them, ignore the haters. But my point was we should normalize the idea that it is okay to celebrate yourself. It is okay to blow your own trumpet. वही है क्योंकि not everybody, I consider myself very strong. कि इतना trolling होता है फिर भी it doesn't matter to me. But not everybody is strong like me. Also, it depends upon my age. It depends upon my journey, my life journey. It has taken me it has taken me time to be strong. I was not born strong. I was also insecure. लाइक स्वाति वाज सेइंग अर्लियर कि इंटिमिडेटिंग लगता है कहीं पे जाकर बात करने के लिए, तो वो कभी मेरे में भी था शायद, या सब में ही होता है शुरू में. बट हाउ डू वी नॉर्मलाइज द आइडिया दैट इट्स ओके टू blow your own trumpet is by talking about it. तो वही कर रहे हैं हम. But and Mukesh, lovely to hear about how you've come so far in your life. You said you're building satellites. Do you want to share a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so the UAE government recently started a program to build in-house satellite in UAE. So I'm associated with the National Space Science and Technology Center in UAE, which builds the CubeSats basically. So basically there are two space satellite building, let's say, organizations in UAE. One is the MBRC that builds any satellite which is more than 300 kgs, and they're more well funded than us. And then the other is NSSTC, the one that I work with. So yeah, we are building currently one satellite we are building right now, and then there is another one in loop, which will probably, I think, in few months we should start. Yeah. But yeah, you see, the idea that I'm awesome, I generally never share about my professional life on Twitter. I seldom, I'm very politically and very specific to Nepalese and very specific to Madhesi community. But I share that part of my life in Facebook. So I do blow my trumpet in a different platform. That's it. Because for me, when I joined Twitter was a sadistic, you mock, you know, हमारे जब मैं कॉलेज में पढ़ता था ना, तो हमारे स्कूल में बोलते थे छीलना, किसी को वो उसकी छील रहा है, like you are mocking somebody. So वो ये पे छीलने का काम होता है. So the way I look at Twitter is like, okay, you do whatever you do. अगर आपने बोला कि मुझे सेब पकड़ है, पसंद है, like apples, somebody will come there with from you anti orange, तुमको संतरा पसंद नहीं है, संतरा का रंग देखो, संतरा ये क्या बोलते हैं, ये it's a color of BJP, that's why you don't like संतरा. So there will be people saying that, you know. So let them say, it's all the freedom of speech, you know. It's all freedom of speech up until somebody tells violence, किसी को पीटना है, मारना है, उससे पहले तक का जो भी है, everything is freedom of speech, everything, in my personal opinion. So I let people say, I have in 2017, I remember in particular, we started a news portal called madhesiyouth.com. It was to bring the stories of the minorities from Madhes to the world. And I was heavily mocked left, right, center in the Madhesi or the Nepalese Twitter space. And that kind of helped me realize at that point of time कि the best thing is कि अपने आसपास एक ऐसा wall बना लो that nothing can penetrate you, nothing will disturb you. If somebody is saying that he's going to harm my family, he's going to harm my wife, he's going to harm my daughter, ट्विटर पे बोलने से कुछ नहीं होता है. In real life, can he come? Can he do that? No. So I don't give a flying fuck about him. Okay. If there's a real threat, I do take action. Otherwise, just let it be. Yeah. So that's all from my side.
Wow, that's very interesting. Your work is very interesting, and see, because of this little space, we got to know about that there is this community, that this space you created to share stories of marginalized community from Nepal. That's very interesting. Do share the link, and sometimes, you know, and maybe below the on my timeline you can share the link to, and that it was mocked. I mean, just imagine the kind of hate people have. Just because you create a platform for marginalized voices, people will start mocking you. But you're right, छीलने का काम होता है ट्विटर पे. Twitter is an extremely hostile. ऐसा लगता है गरम कोयले पे चल रहे हो. The place where it's like you're walking on, you know, glasses. You have been bloodied and bruised in this space. पर Twitter is also a very politically relevant space. इसीलिए बहुत सारे लोग इसीलिए भी, you know, it also makes sense to share your achievements if you know, professional achievements sometimes on Twitter, because from that you can also get some more you know, जैसे job offer या फिर speaking opportunities भी कई बार Twitter से मिल जाता है. तो so you have to share things on Twitter, but you're also right कि हाँ, अगर Facebook is that space for you, fair enough. In fact, like मेरे लिए उल्टा है, I share my professional side on Twitter, political professional opinions वगैरह on Twitter, and the personal, you know, heartbreaks and romance side on. But मैं तो सब कुछ करती हूँ, कह रहे मेरा तो I तो have no shame and no filters only. I share everything everywhere. So anyway, मेरी तो बात अलग है. But you're right, Facebook is a platform like that. So you can always create your own platform and choose your own spaces. So love to hear about all that. One thing I wanted to, unless somebody else wants to speak, anybody else wants to speak, please go ahead and ask for the mic and raise your hand. Mukesh, I wanted to, since we're in this topic, we had kind of a little bit digressed from the topic. So I'm just curious, how is life in UAE as a as a person, as an Asian, as a Nepali, do you have any experiences that is noteworthy, or is it just usual life as usual? How do people respond?
Here, I mean, it is it's very liberal society as compared to the as compared to the, let's say, the way we picture in Nepal or in India. It's completely different. बहुत ही liberal है. कोई कोई आपका ड्रेस कोड का कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. जो हमारे उधर एक थिंकिंग है ना कि दुबई मतलब जिस तरह से नेपाल में और जगह पे सोचते होंगे लोग. आई डोंट नो हाउ पीपल, बट कमिंग फ्रॉम माय विलेज और माय माय मेरे होम टाउन के लोग, व्हेन दे थिंक दैट इज मिडिल ईस्ट, दैट मीन्स वहाँ पे बहुत रिस्ट्रिक्शंस होगा. वैसा नहीं है. यहाँ पे वुमेन को भी काफ़ी एम्पावरमेंट किया जाता है कि गवर्नमेंट काफ़ी अच्छा काम करती है. ऑन टॉप ऑफ दैट, यहाँ पे जो पीपल हैं, दे आर नॉट एक्सट्रीमिस्ट एट ऑल. लाइक द लोकल पॉपुलेशन इज जैसे हम पोर्ट्रे कराते हैं हमारे मूवीज में, एक दिखाते हैं वो हबीबी सम लाइक इज नॉट इवन वेरी गुड पिक्चर, लाइक द वे द मीडिया पोर्ट्रेज देम, है ना, इट्स लाइक अ डेन ऑफ क्रिमिनल्स आ जाते हैं, दुबई भाग के आ जाते हैं, और फिर वैसा कुछ नहीं है. इट्स वेरी सेफ सिटी. मुझे कभी कभी बाहर जाना होता है और मेरी फैमिली को, मुझे अगर पूछा जाए कि विल यू लाइक टू योर फैमिली टू बी इन यूएई और विल यू वांट टू बी योर फैमिली बी इन नेपाल, जस्ट फॉर द सेफ्टी परस्पेक्टिव आई विल वांट माय फैमिली टू बी इन यू. ये इतना सेफ है ना. So I think that the media needs, or in general the the movie makers need to portray that part of Middle East as well. सेकंड है कि यहाँ पे एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ है, जैसे बहुत लोगों को पता नहीं होगा, यहाँ पे ड्रिंकिंग के लिए भी, अल्कोहल के लिए लाइसेंस लेना पड़ता है, विच इज़ इंटरेस्टिंग. और ये है कि आप अपने लाइसेंस का, अपने सैलरी का 25% से ज़्यादा आप अल्कोहल में खर्च नहीं कर सकते. हाँ, ये बात अलग है कि कोई लेता नहीं है लाइसेंस और लोग ऐसे ही जाके खरीद के, मतलब ऑन कैश दे बाय एंड दे ड्रिंक. और यहाँ पे अदर देन दुबई और अबू धाबी, कोरफाकान है टूरिज्म के लिए बहुत अच्छी अमेजिंग. आई शेयर सम ऑफ माय फोटोज ऑन ट्विटर आफ्टर दिस चैट. मैं रिसेंटली मैं घूमने गया था कायाकिंग करने के लिए. तो जनरली इंडिया जो हमारे दोस्त भी आते हैं, उनको दुबई और अबू धाबी घूमना होता है, एंड देन दे लीव द कंट्री. बट ट्रस्ट मी, दिस कंट्री इज मच 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 मोर देन दैट. कोरफाकान है, फुजेरा है, कालवा है, इतना अच्छा ब्यूटीफुल प्लेस है. माउंटेन्स है, उसके जस्ट पास आपको सी मिलता है. So that's really amazing. I will share that, and I'll tag you, Sanjukta, so that you can also have a look the beautiful part of UAE. So by and large, life in UAE is peaceful, calm. कोई टेंशन नहीं है, कोई क्राइम नहीं है. नेपाल के साथ बहुत नज़दीक है. So मुझे कभी जाना होता है, पर्सनली आई डोंट वांट टू गो टू यूरोप बिकॉज, और यूएसए, क्योंकि आप दूर हो जाते हो अपने घर से. मेरे लिए ये सबसे आसान है कि मैं 3 घंटे के फ्लाइट, कोई इनफैक्ट होली होता है, कोई त्यौहार होता है, तो मैं चले जाता हूँ, just because it's a 3 hours flight, so ये सब देखते हुए, it's a very good opportunity for anybody who wants to come and have a professional life in UAE as compared to like other places. So yeah, overall I'm very happy the path that I have chosen.
Wonderful. I can't believe that लाइसेंस तो लेना पड़ता है, पर बिना लाइसेंस के भी मिल ही जाता है वहाँ पे भी ड्रिंक्स. दैट्स इंटरेस्टिंग.
The most interesting part is कि like some religious groups are not allowed to buy alcohol. और द वे इट हैपेंस कि अपना गाड़ी लेके जाते हैं और पीछे गाड़ी खोल देते हैं, फिर अंदर से सीधा ड्रिंक्स उनके वहाँ पे पहुँच जाता है. वो बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग देखने को मिलता है. देयर आर मेनी थिंग्स व्हिच आई कैन नॉट एक्चुअली टेल बिकॉज बीइंग रिकॉर्डेड. सो इंटरेस्टिंग है.
So so you need a license to drink in Dubai, but it's also sometimes available, not sometimes, but yeah, मतलब जुगाड़ तो चली जाता है दुबई में भी. And you said Dubai is a very beautiful place, and you're absolutely right. I have absolutely no image. अगर जैसे दुबई कोई बोलता है ना, तो दिमाग में सिर्फ वो एक बुर्ज खलीफा, टॉम क्रूज की वो मूवी है मिशन इम्पॉसिबल, बस मेरे दिमाग में वो आता है. और बस लोग जो मुस्लिम लोग हैं, बड़े बड़े वो वाइट कपड़े पहने हुए, that's all. That is the only image that we have of Dubai. No other image.
No, there is another image of being stupid, like, oh Habibi, a guy like that image
right.
is demeaning.
So we have a very horribly distorted image of
exactly.
Gulf countries as well as Dubai. And you're right, all this narrative कि सारे smugglers जो है इंडिया से भाग के दुबई चले जाते हैं, so that must be a den of smugglers and criminals. So you're saying all of that is a little bit distortions, but good to, I mean, it's very interesting.
मैंने
So,
अपनी इंजीनियरिंग गुजरात से की, which is a dry state. और ट्रस्ट मी, फर्स्ट वीक में वी गॉट द अल्कोहल ऑफ द which was supposed to be supplied to the military. ठीक है। सो गुजरात में हम लोग अपने हॉस्टल में शराब पीते थे ऑफ इंडियन आर्मी, राइट। सो जुगाड़
so we used to think कि वो सिर्फ इंडिया में जुगाड़ हो जाता है, पता चला दुबई में भी हो जाता है. So that's interesting.
नहीं, हमारे नेपाल में एक कहावत है कि खाने मुखलाई जुंगाले सेक देने, मतलब जो मूछ होता है ना, मूछ कितना ही बड़ा हो जाए वो मुंह को ढक नहीं सकता, मतलब ईटिंग माउथ को ढक नहीं सकता. सो इट्स काइंड ऑफ आई जस्ट रिमेम्बर दैट कोट.
Very interesting. See, little this space because of the space, we got some new information about Dubai today. And thanks for sharing, Mukesh. Somebody else asked for the mic. I gave the mic one Rohit. If there's no other speaker, then we'll just close this thread now, or close this space now. Thanks for participating. Thanks for sharing, Swati, and just to re-emphasize what we were saying. Please feel absolutely confident of your life and your stories, and do not think that your personal life stories are irrelevant. किसी को क्या फर्क पड़ता है तुम्हारे लाइफ से, तुम क्यों अपने बारे में बात कर रहे हो. इस तरह की जो हम सुनते रहते हैं सोसाइटी हमें बोलती रहती है कि डोंट बी मॉडेस्ट, अपना डंका मत बजाओ. Ignore all of that. Please celebrate your life. अपना डंका खुद ही बजाओ, कोई और आकर बजाएगा नहीं. Another example I wanted to give about myself is कि वो मैं बोल रही थी कि मैं ये विकिपीडिया पेज, अब मैं आई विल इफ यू गो टू गूगल और आप संजुक्ता बासु गूगल करोगे तो आप देखोगे कि बहुत कॉमन सर्चेज का एक लिस्ट आता है कि कॉमनली सर्च जो आइटम्स है. कॉमनली सर्च आइटम्स में मैं देखती हूँ कि दुनिया भर के लोग संजुक्ता बासु विकी सर्च करते हैं, क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि मेरा एक विकी पेज होगा तो वो वहां पहुंचना चाहते हैं, और वो है नहीं. आई डोंट हैव अ विकी पेज. So I thought कि wiki page, one day I did some research कि wiki page बनता कैसे है, खुद बनाते हैं, तो मैं सोचा चलो खुद बना लेते हैं. तो I started making like I created a little space और उसमें 2-4 चीजें डाली मैंने, पर वो उसको ड्राफ्ट में छोड़ दिया, मैंने कुछ किया नहीं उसका. तो I got a mail from a service provider who was a writer and he said I do this. मतलब वो मुझसे फीस लेकर वो मेरा विकी पेज बना दी थी अगर मैं उनको हायर करती तो. तब मुझे पता चला कि अच्छा ये हायर करके भी विकी पेज बनाया जाता है. आई डिड नॉट नो दैट. एंड देन आई थॉट कि नहीं यार, जरूरत नहीं है मेरा विकी पेज, मैं खुद अपना पैसा देकर क्या विकी पेज बनाऊंगी, छोड़ो. आई लेट दैट गो एंड आई स्टिल डोंट हैव अ विकी पेज. बट द पॉइंट व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक इज कि देखो, दुनिया में किसी के पास समय नहीं है बैठकर संयुक्ता का विकी पेज बनाए. वो बैठकर, हालांकि स्वरा भास्कर का बना लेंगे विकी पेज, वो बैठकर शायद मतलब आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट फ्रॉम आवर पर्सपेक्टिव, मुझे ये लगता है देखकर कि अरे स्वरा भास्कर का विकी पेज है, अरे फलाने जर्नलिस्ट का विकी पेज है, अरे बरखा दत्ता है, मेरा क्यों नहीं है. तो आई फील इनसिक्योर कि व्हाई शुड आई शुड आल्सो हैव अ विकी पेज. बट इफ आई कीप वेटिंग that somebody else will make it for me, maybe it will not happen. Why? Because maybe I'm not that important. Maybe Barkha Dutt is a more important person. Maybe Swara Bhaskar is a more important person. Maybe Arfa Khanum is a more important person. Or Anjana Kashyap is a more important person in terms of this field of journalism, that is, and I am a smaller person. So there is nobody to sit there and make a Wikipedia for me. And therefore, if I want to celebrate my own life, I can pay someone to create my own wiki page. And there's nothing wrong in it. I haven't done it. शायद मैं कभी करूंगी जब मेरा मन होगा तो, पैसे होंगे तो. और अगर मैंने नहीं भी किया, that's not the point. The point is that this is the difference. In today's world, we are living in a very competitive space where it is okay to celebrate yourself, and you have to do your own efforts. मतलब एफर्ट मारना पड़ता है अपने आप को उस जगह तक पहुंचाने के लिए. अपना ब्लॉग बनाना पड़ता है, अपना यूट्यूब चैनल बनाना पड़ता है, अपनी जो मैंने सुबह से किया, अपने जो मैंने अलग अलग स्टूडेंट्स को दे रखा था लेक्चर्स, उन्हीं को मैंने अपना एडिट करके अपने ही पेज में डाला. अपना ही है, कोई और मेरे लिए नहीं कर रहा है. I am doing it for myself, my own identity, my own story. But at the same time, I'm also spreading inspiration. I'm also spreading my life journey. I'm also spreading knowledge, because what I say in public in a guest lecture is knowledge. So other people get to hear that knowledge. So, we can all be... we can all do that, and we all should do that, and there is nothing wrong in it. We should not feel insecure. We should not have this imposter syndrome. बहुत मुश्किल होता है to fight with the imposter syndrome, but let's try to fight. There's one last speaker, I guess, Mr. Raval. So I'll give the mic to you. Yes, and then we'll close it. You can speak.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, ma'am. I'm from Pakistan. My name is Rawal Hashmi. So I just want to appreciate your work. I follow you regularly, your tweets and all this, and with which, with boldness and straightforwardness, you do your work. I really like it, and just want to appreciate that. Keep on doing what you are best at, and do not think much about others what they are saying. If you are satisfied, then I think that is good to go. Anything if you want to ask me, you can.
Thank you, Raval. Nice to meet you. Um, yeah, it's great to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
Swati, would you like to share something with Ms. Raval? She tell us something about Pakistan. I mean, give us some insight to हमें नहीं पता हो.
Paki-
Say something interesting.
Pakistan is a lovable country, very friendly people. It is not that image that is portrayed normally on media or some other platforms. They are very warm, friendly. They love each other. Uh, we do not have any problems with Indians as well. We love if anyone is doing good work, then it is enough. No matter Indian, Pakistani, that comes second. Humanity comes first. So we should do whatever in our capacity to serve the humankind first. Then nationality, religion, yeah, this that comes after that. So Pakistan is a beautiful place. I don't know if you have ever visited Pakistan or not. If you have, tell us.
No, I have not visited Pakistan और यहाँ Twitter trolls मुझे बोलते रहते हैं कि go to Pakistan. So I
We
think
would,
someday
we
I
would
probably
welcome
will go to
we would
Pakistan.
welcome you warmly if you come. So
I will मुझे I will just go to have the food, the tasty
yeah,
food in
biryani,
Pakistan.
biryani. There is a very famous Karachi biryani, Lahore biryani, and all the food stuff that is just delicious. If you ever visited, then please try this.
Yeah, sure. Great, thank you so much. So let's close this. I don't think anybody else is speaking. Zarpin, you usually speak, but very quiet today. Or Mukesh has moved. Dr. Avni was there, who was just a listener.
Uh,
All right.
and just want to thank that you provided me opportunity to speak. So thank you so much, and keep on doing what you are doing. Thank you.
You're welcome. Most welcome. All right. So bye, everyone. Swati, are you still there?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much for giving me the mic. This was my first time getting on Twitter and talking, and I mostly don't do it, so it was a very good push. So hopefully I'll be more around and more vocal. Thank you so very much. This was a great space.
I just want to add this was my first as well. So thank you so much. No one else did provide us this opportunity. So
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And you both welcome. And I'm so happy that at least there's some good out of today's space. I am a big advocate of personal life story. I just started when I was 25 years. In fact, 25 क्या जब मैं 15 साल की थी तब से मैं सोच रही हूँ कि अपने लाइफ पे किताब लिखेंगे और वो किताब जो है वो दुनिया भर के लोग पढ़ेंगे. मतलब आई बचपन से ही आई यूज्ड टू थिंक पे एक दिन हम इतना फेमस हो जाएंगे कि लोग हमारे मरने के बाद भी हमारी किताब पढ़ते रहेंगे. So I don't know where did I get that from, but first of 25, I think when I was starting blogging and तब से मैं सोच रही हूँ कि एक बुक लिखना है और अभी just last month or last week मैंने किसी एक publisher से बात किया है and I started finally actually seriously writing my book. So because I'm writing that book also, all of that is connected. क्योंकि मेरे पास भी fiction नहीं है बोलने के लिए. I'm a writer. I've written like hundreds of articles on politics. I've written 700 to 800 blogs on my personal articles on my personal blog. मैंने कितना लिखा है लाइफ में. इसके अलावा ट्विटर में तो लाखों ट्वीट्स है और फेसबुक है. But I don't write fiction. I'm not a very creative person. I cannot create characters and I don't create fictitious stories. I can't create that. But I can talk and listen about real people, real individuals, unki stories. And I feel I wish everybody did that. If everybody shared their story, we would have so much of more content, so much of more stories, but it is the thing which is the biggest challenge for us. अपना story बोलने के लिए हमें सबसे ज़्यादा intimidate किया गया है for सदियों से. We have been taught that you're not supposed to tell your story, and that we judge you, and that people will laugh at you. So all of that. So please stay in touch, all of you, and I hope like I'm not selling my book yet because I don't even have a publisher, but I'm still flagging it that I'm writing a book, and I would hope to have all of you as my readers.
Yeah, sure,
And
why not?
and one more last thing that people should know about me, that I'm a big fan of the American actor Jeremy Renner. And even Jeremy Renner's character, Hawkeye, he plays Avengers. He plays Hawkeye in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Hawkeye. And the recent Hawkeye series, maybe, the series also addressed this issue of who can be a role model and whose life story is inspirational. So maybe there was this theme, and I guess it resonated with me. It's just a coincidence that I was already a fan of Jeremy Renner and Hawkeye and all of that and they also used that same topic that maybe Hawkeye says that I am not a role model for anybody. He thinks that he does not inspire. He's not a role model. But then the other character who was his protege, she says that no, you are a role model. So this insecurity that am I a role model or not? Is my life story inspirational? Can I share my life story in the public? Can I write a book on myself? This is a very big, a theme that runs across all of us, and it's a theme that we must consider, address. It's a challenge that we face, but we should celebrate our stories in our lives. With that note, thank you so much for listening, and let's end this. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.